This is channel Xianxia Audio. Please support me like a subscription. This is the series The Devil Butler. Chapter 31, Frigid Pool Snow Worm. Returning to Mountain Lord's chamber. The guard begged for his life. "Lord, young miss, spare me." No, Yang Ming, that bastard forced me. Lei Yuding was clueless as Zhuo Fan waved. "Stand aside." The guard curled up in a corner. Then Zhuo Fan walked to the old man's bed. Zhuo Fan smiled at the naked killing intent in the old man's eyes. "I can heal you, but you have to listen to me afterwards." Lei Yuding was moved. "You can heal Godfather?" Zhuo Fan only stared at the old man in the eye. The old man hesitated, but Zhuo Fan dispelled it with a smile. "Relax, I won't do anything that might jeopardize your clan. I am Zhuo Fan, Luo clan steward. We have a common enemy and I am missing a bone tempering expert that I hope you can fill in for." His words worked to intensify the glare in the old man's eyes. Zhuo Fan grinned, knowing he agreed. With a wave of his finger, the blood infant left the guard and floated in front of Zhuo Fan. At the sight of the bloody light, the guard shivered. This was the one behind his partner's gruesome death. Lei Yuding was shocked, having also suffered at the hands of this light. "Zhuo Fan, what are you trying to do?" "Heal him." Zhuo Fan flitted his eyes over her. "Can this thing heal?" Lei Yuding was doubtful, having seen Zhuo Fan using it to attack and humiliate her before. What if this thing worsens Godfather's illness? Zhuo Fan sneered. "Young miss, your Godfather agreed already. I have no reason to hurt him." "Then what is that thing?" Lei Yuding watched the old man with worry. "Demonic creature." Zhuo Fan explained coldly. "Us, demonic cultivators, refined demonic creatures, be it for attacking or defending. These creatures are essential." "Do you know why Yang Ming snapped when I said the old man had a foreign object inside?" Lei Yuding shook her head. "Didn't you say it was a blind guess?" Zhuo Fan almost spat blood. "Now I know why he fooled you. You're a blockhead. Did you also believe me when I was fooling him? I see now why he left so at ease, even while you were alive." Lei Yuding blushed and lowered her head. Godfather always told her she had a talent for cultivation. A genius. But Zhuo Fan was the first to call her blockhead. The reason why he flipped was because my words hit him where it hurts. Zhuo Fan spoke gravely. "As for why the old man is immobilized, it's because of a demonic creature. I will now use mine to expel the one inside him." "Even so." Lei Yuding was still worried. "Your demonic creature can expel his?" "Ha ha ha." Zhuo Fan laughed as he heard the biggest joke in his life. Based on his early diagnosis, Yang Ming's demonic creature was refined from a parasitic worm, the lowest among demonic creatures. But his was the blood infant, feared by even the 10 sovereigns of old. How could they ever be equal? Sigh. Ignorance is terrifying. Zhuo Fan no longer wasted words on Lei Yuding and waved his finger so that the blood infant entered the old man. A flash of red passed and the old man's skin crawled. As it started to wiggle, a light flashed over that spot. Wherever the light went, the wiggling stopped. After a few dozen breaths, the blood infant returned to Zhuo Fan's body while the old man began to move his finger. His lips parted to let a faint whisper. "Tinger, Godfather." Lei Yuding grabbed his hand as tears fell. But Zhuo Fan frowned and muttered, "Damn it, this old man won't move anytime soon. His blood vessels atrophied. He needs at least half a year to recover. I helped him for nothing." Even with his low voice, Lei Yuding picked up his every word. Lei Yuding glared at him. "Make no mistake, my Godfather owes you and I will do everything to repay it. You won't lose out." He shrugged. He wanted a bone tempering expert, not a run-of-the-mill cultivator stuck at the cusp of entering bone tempering stage that he could easily deal with. It was at this time the old man's body trembled and an inch-long snow-white worm crawled out of his mouth. "Ah!" Lei Yuding shrieked, but when she saw the worm, her anger got the best of her. "So you're the cause of my Godfather's illness." Lei Yuding poured all her power into the lightning between her 2 fingers and stabbed at the worm. "Stop!" Zhuo Fan grabbed her hand. Lei Yuding saw his eyes flash with an odd light. "What are you doing? We need to kill this parasite." "You know nothing." Zhuo Fan looked for a box to put the worm carefully. Before closing the lid, he dropped a few drops of blood essence and smiled with satisfaction as he hid it in his chest. Never did he expect to earn so much on this trip. This creature was called Frigid Pool Snow Worm. one that lived in the coldest waters and was very rare. It was a parasite that would die if the larva didn't find a host in 2 hours after hatching. But the cold pool it lived in hardly had any living beings, and most of the worms would die soon after being born. A demonic cultivator would raise it into an inferior demonic creature, since most poisonous worms or insects could be turned into parasites. This was why many demonic cultivators considered the frigid pool snowworm a mere parasite, albeit a rarer one. Yet even in the sacred domain, one would be hard-pressed to find someone who knew of frigid pool snowworm's fatal flaw. It would only leave its host when it was on the brink of death. Just now, the blood infant used the demon transformation art to kill its larva and make it believe its life was threatened so it would come out willingly. Another way was to kill the old man. By destroying all its larvae, the worm had now become a common parasite. However, a treasure such as this could be refined into an unprecedented demonic creature in Zhuo Fan's hands. He started to let out an evil smile. His grin only made the other three's hearts shudder, thinking Zhuo Fan was worse than Yang Ming. Carry him, we're returning to Windgaze City. Zhuo Fan then turned to the remaining guard with a kind smile. Thank you for opening the door for us. With a strained nod, the guard squeezed a smile. Then a steel grip lifted him by the throat. But now, you're expendable. No. Lei Yuding was late in stopping him. Black energy burrowed into the guard and he soon blew up in a cloud of dust. She froze after seeing Zhuo Fan kill a man for the first time. He was so ruthless. He didn't even leave a corpse. Lei Yuding recalled how she spent the last few days next to such a murderer, and fear swelled inside her. Even the old man's eyes squinted. He was a seasoned cultivator, yet also felt his courage falter from Zhuo Fan's act. Lei Yuding looked at her godfather with a heavy heart, unsure if joining Zhuo Fan was a good choice. But one thing was certain. She should never ever make an enemy out of him. Sighing, she resigned in carrying her godfather behind Zhuo Fan. Bodies were strewn everywhere they looked around the camp. Each man had a peaceful death. But it was this calm expression that struck the greatest fear in the two's hearts. The mountain camp had around 400 men, yet they all died without a sound, including those who weren't corrupted by Yang Ming. The old man had tears streaming down his cheeks when he recalled drinking with his brothers. But far from hating Zhuo Fan, he was more grateful. He was the lord of Blackwind Mountain and knew decisiveness was needed here. Once word got out about his rescue, not only the ones here but also the ones living in Windgaze City would find themselves dead. If Zhuo Fan didn't do it, the old man would have asked him to. He was grateful that Zhuo Fan spared him from giving out the kill order. Steward, Zhou, thank you. His strained words shocked Lei Yuding. While Zhuo Fan understood, the old man was both in admiration and fearful as he watched the bodies. You did a great deed? Chapter 32. Men from Headquarter. 10 days later, Zhuo Fan returned in secret to the small courtyard in Veiled Dragon Pavilion. This trip took them half a month, but Zhuo Fan made sure to tell Lei Yuding to place the Blackwind Mountain bandits in the city on standby. Since the bandits were still, so was Hell Valley. On the way to his home, Zhuo Fan found that Long Jia and Long Kui weren't around and sent for a guard to put the old man in a room while he went to look for Luo Yunchang. 15 minutes later, Xiao Kui cried when she saw the door open. She ran in tears to Lei Yuding. Young miss. Lei Yuding wiped the girl's tears and bopped her nose. Silly girl, they weren't hard on you, were they? Xiao Kui shook her head. All Luo clan, besides that evil steward, treated me with kindness. Ahem, girly, don't talk bad about people when they're present or they will put you in your place. Zhuo Fan then walked next to the rest of the Luo clan's members who smiled at Xiao Kui's antics. Luo Yunhai approved. You dumb girl. Bro Zhou likes to spank people the most. You messed with him, now see how he messes up your rear. Xiao Kui hid behind Lei Yuding. Zhuo Fan rolled his eyes. Was he a fiend in these kids' eyes? Luo Yunchang and Captain Peng exchanged a glance but felt warm inside. Zhuo Fan always did what he wanted and never left a good first impression. To the point some might even call him vile. They experienced this firsthand. But once they got to know Zhuo Fan, they would discover that he was a trustworthy person. You're Yunchang? They all turned to the old man behind Lei Yuding, who watched Luo Yunchang with emotion. Then he turned to the child. And you are? Luo Yunhai? Gods be praised. Brother Zhenan's children are alive. Senior, are you perhaps? Luo Yunchang hesitated. The first thing Zhuo Fan did when he returned was to bring her to Blackwind Mountain's lord to understand the relationship between Blackwind Mountain and Luo clan. And why Hell Valley set its sights on them. Zhuo Fan made the introductions. This is Blackwind Mountain's lord, the leader of the bandits who destroyed Cloud Manor. What? Luo Yunchang's face turned gloomy and dignified as killing intent surged and her yuan qi leaked. Lei Yuding jumped in front of the old man. His frail hand moved Lei Yuding aside and dropped to his knees. Tears flowing freely. Yunchang, Luo clan's disaster is all my fault. If you want to kill anyone, kill me. Godfather, Mountain Lord, Lei Yuding and Xiao Kui shouted, but the old man dismissed them. I owe it to the Luo clan. You are not to stop her. Luo Yunchang watched the weak old man with anger. Yet she didn't strike. Zhuo Fan patted her shoulder. Yang Ming had him fooled for so long. Immobilized him in his bed. And he had only recently recovered somewhat. The attack on the Luo clan had nothing to do with him. Why didn't you say so earlier? Luo Yunchang grumbled, blaming him for almost having killed an innocent. Zhuo Fan rubbed his chin. Although, this old man is so blind that taking him in might sink the Luo clan. Killing him for revenge is only natural. She rolled her eyes at Zhuo Fan's dubious logic. Despite making some sense, blaming the old man was going too far. Luo Yunchang wasn't a person who took her anger on others. Even more so when the old man seemed to have known her father well. Senior, you're also a victim. No, I and Zhenan are sworn brothers, but the Luo clan fell because of me. It is because of me his soul can't rest. He wiped the tears from his pain-stricken face. Luo Yunchang was shocked and then saw Luo Yunhai shaking his head. Senior, why is it that father never mentioned you? Releasing the breath that he was holding, the old man calmed his restless heart. Luo clan is a distinguished clan, leagues above an old bandit such as I. But your father and I became sworn brothers right as we met and kept it hidden. Afraid of affecting the Luo clan's reputation. Furthermore, my Lei clan has an ancient rule. Never to make enemies of Kai and Luo clans. Luo Yunhai cried out, then muttered. Dad once told me that regardless of the situation, to always survive or perish alongside Lei and Kai clans. I know of the Kai clan, but is the Lei clan he was referring to yours? Luo Yunchang turned to her brother. How come father never told me anything about this? Luo Yunhai stuck out his chin and snickered. Dad said it's a secret between men. It is not for women or outsiders to know of. Zhuo Fan frowned. Is it possible that this ancestral rule in the Lei and Luo clans is passed down to the clan head only? Correct, but as I do not have a son to pass it on, I speak of it now. Moreover, I and Zhenan became brothers, so the Luo clan would never harm us. But then he recalled how Luo clan fell because of him and shook his head in shame. Old man, do you have a martial art passed down in your clan? Zhuo Fan asked. The old man nodded. I passed down my clan's spirit-ranked martial art, Lightning Finger, to Tinger as I have no son. But that bastard Yang Ming took the jade slip instead. Bam! Zhuo Fan clapped. That's it. That's what they are after. Then he rushed out the door. Wait here. Everyone was stunned, clueless as to what he wanted to do. Zhuo Fan passed like a storm through Veiled Dragon Pavilion's gates guarded by the same pair of guards. They didn't even try to stop him. Bro Ju, Zhuo Fan shouted as he searched for Long Ju. He soon saw a closed door with Long Kui and Long Jia acting as guards and knew Long Ju was inside. He rushed over as he shouted. Long Kui blocked him, enraged. Shut up. Uncle Ju won't receive guests today. Get lost. Humph, I'm not a guest. I have important matters to discuss with Long Ju. Stand aside. Zhuo Fan wanted to charge in, but Long Jia and Long Kui's power barred him entry. Important is it? Don't mistake Uncle Ju's appreciation of you for weakness. This is Veiled Dragon Pavilion, not your backyard. Long Kui glared at him as she stood her ground before the door. Brother Zhou, Uncle Ju can't see you today. Please go back. Long Jia was firm. Zhuo Fan knew charging in was pointless and smiled. Girlie, do you know where I've been these past few days? Humph, where could a filthy man possibly go? Last time you had two in your arms, and this time you must have spent a tender night out in their village. Long Kui rolled her eyes. Zhuo Fan shook his head with a sneer. Ha ha ha, I wish, but I'm not as free as young Miss Long. Back to the matter at hand. I followed a lead on Hell Valley. Any time now they will come to Veiled Dragon Pavilion. So don't say I didn't warn you. Humph, nonsense. If you know Hell Valley's actions, then bulls can fly. Long Kui disdained. Zhuo Fan shook his head and left, shouting his final warning. Tell Uncle Zhu I am taking the Luo clan into hiding, so we won't get dragged in Veiled Dragon Pavilion's fall. Long Kui wanted to curse. We've always treated you so well, yet you even curse us after breaking all ties? She didn't get the chance, however, as the door opened with a creak and Long Zhu's voice came. Please bring Brother Zhou in. Long Jia and Long Kui were shocked, then bowed. Yes. Zhuo Fan flitted past them like smoke. No need, I can do it myself. He. Long Kui panted with rage when she saw his smug look. What's so great about him? Isn't he just a 5th grade array master? Why does Uncle Zhu care so much about him? With a bitter smile, Long Jia returned to guarding the door. This is a prime example of hating grapes from being sour without trying them. If young Miss was a 5th grade array master instead, not only Uncle Zhu would have cared for you, he'd even praise you to high heaven. On the other hand, Zhuo Fan, who couldn't care less about Long Kui's increasing discontent with him, walked inside a huge house after spending 5 minutes crossing a corridor. He soon saw Long Zhu sitting on a high chair beaming at him. On either side of him were another 2 identical seats, with the exception that they were facing in the opposite direction. Ha ha ha. Brother Zhou, what brought you here today? Zhuo Fan stopped before Long Zhu, who was smiling at him. But that smile was soon replaced by a grim look. But I must remind you, if you came here with nonsense, there will be consequences. Scratching his nose, Zhuo Fan smiled. Hell Valley's experts are here and will soon attack this place. I wonder if this is considered nonsense. Of course not, if it's true. Before Long Zhu responded, an aged voice came from one high chair, followed by the slow turning of both the chairs. 2 ferocious auras, stronger than Long Zhu, swept Zhuo Fan. His breath caught in his throat and he staggered backwards as a drop of cold sweat trailed down his shocked face. Chapter 33. Movements from all sides. The 2 chairs creaked as they turned slowly, revealing 2 old men. One had sandy hair, with big eyes and thin hands that each time his finger tapped the armrest, it echoed out. His eyes flashed golden like a piercing sword, enough to cut one's heart. The second elder had red hair and took long breaths. Each exhale warped the air as if he breathed fire. One look was enough for Zhuo Fan to know they were stronger than Long Zhu. One of them even trained the golden body to completion while the other cultivated a fire cultivation method to great success. In the short time Zhuo Fan was exposed to their power, he knew the old men weren't far from the radiant stage. In the mortal domain, any who reached this stage was among the few strongest on the continent. So this is the power of the Veiled Dragon Pavilion. Zhuo Fan sighed inside. The blonde elder glanced at Zhuo Fan. Are you that Zhuo Fan old Zhu couldn't stop praising? Yes. I heard you're a 5th grade array master. Zhuo Fan nodded. Before grasping the two's character, he refrained from acting casually. Junior has a trivial understanding of 5th grade arrays, but nothing seniors could consider as worth. Ha ha ha. A 5th grade array master is a venerable in the Veiled Dragon Pavilion. And we too are just elders. Even we have to show you respect. The blonde elder let out a friendly laugh, unfitting of his stiff expression. The red-haired elder's rough voice boomed. Hey kid, old Zhu said you're quite arrogant, that you can raise an unknown clan above the 7 houses in 10 years. Listening to you shout, Bro Zhu, sure is arrogant enough. How come you're so shy when facing us too? Zhuo Fan smiled. I have met with Bro Zhu many times and got to know his limits. But this is my first time meeting the 2 of you. The elders were surprised. Long Zhu's face twitched and snapped. Kid, you say you saw through me. Is that it? And here I thought you were bossy to anyone you met when in fact you acted like this only around me. You think this old man is all washed up? He, of course not. I consider Bro Zhu my friend. And with how a broad-minded senior you are, you would never lower yourself to my level. If I were to act the same with a one-track-minded person, I'd be dead. Zhuo Fan shook his head and continued. That is no longer arrogance, but idiocy. The 3 smiled and sighed. The blonde and the red-haired elders even showed approval. Just as old Zhu said, this kid can see through others while also handling each of them with flawless flattery. His words might irritate old Zhu, but as a senior, he won't bicker with a junior. I like this kid. Ha ha ha. The red-haired elder laughed, while the blonde elder nodded. If I didn't know you have no intention to join Veiled Dragon Pavilion, I would have insisted on having you join us. Ha ha ha. Quote, Zhuo Fan might be cupping his hands with a smile, but a sneer laid in his heart. In the off chance this glorious and fallen demonic emperor couldn't rise again, he would still not join a party that didn't even have a radiant stage cultivator. Quite the opposite. In fact, if you old fogies are stuck in cultivation, this old man will give you pointers. Oh, you were saying just now that Hell Valley's men are here. Are you certain? The blonde old man's face turned solemn as they went down to important matters. Long Zhu turned his eye over to him, eager to know. Zhuo Fan nodded. Half a month ago, I discovered the Sun Clan had 2 more incredibly strong auras besides Elder Jian. As I was out with work these past days, I hadn't kept an eye on Sun Clan and am unclear if more had come. Humph, the more the better. I will kill them regardless. Long Zhu slapped the table as his eye turned bloodthirsty. Old Zhu, don't let anger cloud your judgment. The blonde old man frowned and said to Zhuo Fan, Little brother, how do you know? A cat has its way, and so does a mouse. The less you know, the better. Zhuo Fan shook his head. The blonde old man was doubtful, while Long Zhu was convinced. Third brother, Brother Zhou's news is reliable. When that bastard Jian Fan came to Windgaze City, our spy network didn't pick it up and we only knew it thanks to Brother Zhou's warning. I can attest to that, as I checked its validity myself. The blonde elder frowned and said surprised. Little brother, you're quite amazing. I wonder who your master is. Overlord Nine Serenities, Zhuo Fan blurted. They were stunned. This name was domineering to the extreme. But when did this continent have such a persona? Zhuo Fan smiled to himself. In the sacred domain, it would hint to the Nine Serenities sovereign's location. But in the mortal domain, no one was the wiser. After all, the folk here were too far away, enough to keep such ancient rumors from reaching their ears. Your master must be a hidden expert to train Brother Zhou to 5th grade array master. The blonde elder didn't press for more. Brother Zhu, do you have a recovery pill? Zhuo Fan popped a question. Long Zhu nodded as he took out a bottle. Is someone from Luo clan hurt? A recovery pill was a 3rd grade pill. Not too expensive and neither too common. Valued 100,000 spirit stones at the minimum. But since Zhuo Fan wanted it, Long Zhu was bound to acquiesce. What could this pill be worth when the two were close as bros and there was even a 10 million debt binding them? Zhuo Fan took the pill then cupped his hands. Thank you, Bro Zhu and elders. I will be going now. Damn punk. This was your aim all along. Long Zhu cursed. You disturbed us for some meager pill. So now you must suffer my punishment. Zhuo Fan laughed as he dismissed him. I'll tell you something else then. Hell Valley will attack in 2 days. Better bump up security. Then he walked out laughing. Long Jia and Long Kui saw the immensely pleased Zhuo Fan come out and knew he had a delightful conversation, which only worked to sour the two's hearts. The fact that a kid like him had more right than them to join a meeting of elders left them annoyed. Long Kui in particular. The blonde elder stroked his beard, keeping Zhuo Fan's figure in his eyes. Brothers, this kid puts on a smart appearance. While each word he spoke was carefully considered. So young yet so skilled. I can't help but wonder whose disciple he is. Veiled Dragon Pavilion will have to get in touch with his master. The two nodded. On the other hand, Zhuo Fan went straight home. Along the way, he even spotted quite a few suspicious individuals prowling around. A great fight was about to erupt. He soon returned to Luo Yunchang. Thanks to the old man's briefings, Luo Yunchang was now privy to the ups and downs of past events and was beginning to sympathize and relate with them. Since both of them had suffered at the hands of a common enemy, their alliance became more solid. Zhuo Fan relaxed seeing this and threw a bottle at the mountain lord. Take this. I hope you'll be up to your peak in no time. What's this? Lei Yuding asked. Recovery pill. What? Lei Yuding was stunned. She knew of its value. Even if Blackwind Mountain robbed for a whole year, they'd still be unable to gather the spirit stones to pay for it. Yet he threw such a precious pill just like that. Was Luo clan that rich? Seeing through her, Luo Yunchang patted Lei Yuding's hand. Sister Yuding, be at ease. Veiled Dragon Pavilion owes us 10 million. A third-grade pill is nothing. Lei Yuding's shock left her slack-jawed. No wonder Veiled Dragon Pavilion was protecting them free of charge. Wait, was Cloud Manor that wealthy? But Zhuo Fan rolled his eyes at Luo Yunchang's radiant smile. Women are all the same. They all love to compare. Meanwhile, in a dark room of the Sun Clan sat 4 people. 3 of them had their faces hidden, though unable to hide the vile energy they gave off, while the 4th was Hell Valley's 8th elder, Condor Jian Fan. The handsome youth standing before them with a creepy smile was Yang Ming, also known as Yu Ming in Hell Valley. Yu Ming, Elder Jian began, you hid for more than a decade in Blackwind Mountain. You've done well, but this isn't a job for a girl. There was an incident, but it was taken care of. Yu Ming smiled. Whoosh! A black light trailed his face, drawing blood. Yu Ming was appalled Elder Jian would strike him. Staring at him, Elder Jian said unfeelingly, this secret plan had been going for a decade. If your overconfidence ruins the house's plan, I will make you beg for death. Yes, Yu Ming bowed as cold sweat formed. Leave, Elder Jian waved. We'll begin 3 days from now. Yu Ming was at the door when he caught Elder Jian's sneer. No Luo clan member is allowed to live, especially Zhuo Fan. Yu Ming paused after each word. Nodding, Elder Jian's killing intent surged. Even if Veiled Dragon Pavilion used him to kill Yu Quan, his hands are stained with your junior brother's blood. No such person shall live in this world. Yes, Yu Ming gnashed his teeth, his smile bloodthirsty. Chapter 34. Battle approaches. Zhuo Fan was sitting cross-legged on his bed when he opened his eyes. He was but a step away from entering the 5th layer of qi condensation. But his lack of yuan qi blocked his advance. If he had known, he would have spent more time on Blackwind Mountain to absorb more people's yuan qi. But since he was pressed for time, he only let Blood Infant do the killing, wasting good materials in the process. With the battle knocking at his door, he refrained from letting Blood Infant roam. It would be a huge loss for it to die if Elder Jian bumped into Blood Infant. Zhuo Fan muttered, I can only hold it in. It will not be long before they attack. Yet, his last word was followed by a terrifying power looming ever closer towards his direction. He ran out of the house and jumped onto the roof to see a man was already there. Floating in the sky, Long Zhu. He too felt the power approaching closer and closer, as his single eye squinted with the release of killing intent. Despite this place being 100 meters from Veiled Dragon Pavilion, Zhuo Fan shivered from the intense desire to kill. I knew it, they're profound heaven experts. Even if Zhuo Fan couldn't pinpoint Long Zhu's power, figuring out his stage was easy. Hovering in the sky was all the proof he needed. As for the other 2 elders, they were even stronger. Thinking of them, he swept the area, but Zhuo Fan saw no shadow of them. They had to be laying in ambush to trap Jian Fan. Zhuo Fan sported a wicked grin. The 3 elders' plan showed Veiled Dragon Pavilion's decision to fight Hell Valley to the death. Regardless of consequences, this left no room for amicable conciliation, while also securing the Luo clan's safety. Zhuo Fan, what happened? Luo Yunchang with Lei Yuding and the rest came outside. Zhuo Fan guessed Mountain Lord hadn't finished digesting the pills since he didn't come. Zhuo Fan sorely lacked a peak expert. He yelled, what are you doing? Get back inside. Their little power was nothing to a profound heaven expert, unlike Zhuo Fan who relied on the 9 heavens coiling dragon array. Luo Yunchang knew the gravity of the situation from Zhuo Fan's tense face. She took her brother and the others to hide in the house while also saying, Zhuo Fan, be careful. Zhuo Fan nodded. A sudden cawing echoed in their ears and a black cloud floated above Veiled Dragon Pavilion. With a laugh, a black-robed old man walked out of the cloud. The few strands of hair on his head drifted in the wind as his evil eyes narrowed on Long Zhu. But even so, he couldn't help spare the small courtyard a glance. Condor Jian Fan, how dare you step into my domain? Long Zhu's one and only eye was bloodshot. His bone-deep hatred seeped into every word he uttered. Snickering, Condor Jian Fan laughed. Long Zhu, Veiled Dragon Pavilion killed Hell Valley's disciple, Yu Quan. You're saying I can't even come to seek justice? Justice? Since when did Hell Valley know the meaning of the word? Long Zhu's breathing grew ragged from the grudge he carried. Who then plotted against me in Drifting Leaf City? Who then set a trap for me and ruined my purple lightning gold eye? Purple lightning gold eye? Zhuo Fan didn't expect the people in the mortal domain to cultivate such a remarkable ability. The legend of the purple lightning gold eye went back to the time of the 10 sovereigns. Pertaining to one of the top 3 sovereigns, Heavenly Sovereign's mystic eye, it released a golden light, divine lightning that could crush heaven. Even a saint stage expert would fall from his gaze. Yet, this amazing cultivation method appeared in the mortal domain. He was curious as to how in heaven's Long Zhu managed to cultivate it. If it was cultivated to the 6th heaven, it was a pity to have it ruined. Even he, the demonic emperor, would feel the same hatred as if having his wife stolen or his father killed. Ha ha ha. Zhuo Fan wasn't the least bit ashamed and laughed instead. Who is to blame for your idiocy? Relying on your eye, you became a top expert in the Veiled Dragon Pavilion. Without this crutch, you've degenerated to become one of the 9 elders, stuck to defend Windgaze City. Oh, the horror. Zhuo Fan. Long Zhu's energy blew with his rage and even his eye was on the verge of bleeding. I will have my revenge. Long Zhu charged as a golden dragon coiled around his hand. Mid-spirit ranked martial art. Soaring dragon claw. Roar. The dragon roared and left Long Zhu's arm, burying its fangs at the enemy. Zhuo Fan sneered and simply waved his hand. A black mist formed chains as it left his sleeve, binding the golden dragon. With a twist of his hand, the golden dragon wailed and shattered to pieces. Mid-spirit ranked martial art. Hell chains. Zhuo Fan mocked. Long Zhu, you were a dragon with your eye before, but you are now a mere bug. The name of Godai Long Zhu will never rise again. Before he could finish, a palm appeared before him and a claw grabbed his wrist. Veiled Dragon Claw. Zhuo Fan was unable to escape the vice, but he wasn't too worried as he laughed. Humph. Think you can face me with mortal ranked martial arts when even spirit ranked martial arts are useless? Hee. I don't need to take your life. Just, grinning, Long Zhu threw Zhuo Fan to the ground. The blonde and the red-haired elders jumped from nearby to attack him. Not good. Zhuo Fan started panicking. Only now did he realize Long Zhu's ploy. Long Zhu wanted to trap him with 2 others, cutting off his escape. Long Zhu is set on killing me. But, Zhuo Fan grinned. Now, the black cloud revealed 2 men in black as they converged on Long Zhu. This left Long Zhu and the elders in shock. But thanks to Zhuo Fan's intelligence, they had a contingency in place. Old Zhu, hold fast. The blonde elder moved swiftly towards Zhuo Fan with the red-haired elder behind him. Ignoring Long Zhu's fate, Long Zhu grinned as a golden light shined on his palm and a dragon-shaped sword appeared. As long as you kill Zhuo Fan, I can die in peace. 3rd grade spiritual weapon, dragon sword? The 2 men in black stopped in their attacks and dodged the incoming sword attack. Whoosh! A golden light passed just an inch from them as a thunderclap followed behind it. The light split the sky in half and only after 10 breaths did it recover. The 2 men in black felt dread while retreating 10 steps. They didn't expect Long Zhu to use a treasure to deal with them. Good. The blonde elder shouted in glee. Long Zhu's attack scared the 2 men. He wrapped himself in golden light and charged at Zhuo Fan. Attacked from 2 sides, Zhuo Fan was like meat on a chopping board. Old Zhu, take a look, see how 3rd brother ends him. The blonde elder laughed as he attacked. Despite not using a martial art, ear-piercing sounds were heard as his hand moved. Zhuo Fan began to sweat as his eyes squinted, feeling death breathing down his neck. Boom! But then a purple light exploded. It not only blocked the attack but even forced the blonde elder to cough blood. The red-haired elder rushed to check on him while the blonde elder ignored his wounds and stared at the rolling smoke. As for Long Zhu, he was shocked. When the smoke scattered, it revealed a panting Zhuo Fan. But this time, he was no longer afraid and even grew rampant, having escaped death. That was close. Didn't think Veiled Dragon Pavilion would send 5th and 3rd elders after me. Devastating Gold Dragon and World-Burning Fire Dragon. Your reputations precede you. The 2 elders were staring, not at Zhuo Fan, but at the thing on his shoulder. Soul-devouring crow. Zhuo Fan frowned. He didn't expect for Elder Jian to have such a demonic creature. The soul-devouring crow's body wasn't formidable, but it can devour anything and transfer what it swallowed to its owner. Soul-devouring crow's power depended on its owner. But one thing was certain. Soul-devouring crow was among the strong demonic creatures. Zhuo Fan's eyebrows shook as he looked into the crow's eyes. One was black, while the other was golden and released a purple light. Even faint thunder sounds came out. Third heaven. Purple lightning gold eye. Chapter 35. Purple lightning gold eye. That's my eye. With just a look, Long Zhu saw through the secret of the crow's eye. He used to move unhindered thanks to that same eye and even earned the name Godai Long Zhu. But the Godai was now his enemy's weapon to be used against him. I am possible. Long Zhu shook his head in denial. Jian Fan's laughter was unrestrained. Long Zhu, did you ever think that your precious purple lightning gold eye will one day be put to use on my demonic creature? If you want to kill me, you'll have to first overcome this eye. Then he began making hand signs. The crow flew and purple light glinted in its golden eye, rumbling as it charged at Long Zhu. Watch out! The blonde elder woke Long Zhu out of his stupor in time to defend with his dragon sword. Boom! Long Zhu was struck down by one purple lightning after another and was blown away coughing blood. The two elders rushed to Jian Fan in panic. They knew that as long as Jian Fan stopped his hands, the crow would stop moving. But how could Jian Fan not see such an obvious flaw? Sneering, he gestured again and caused two explosions. The purple lightning struck the two elders. They bore the brunt as it sent them flying and blood leaked from their mouths. Zhuo Fan was shocked by how vicious the purple lightning gold eye was. It was only in third heaven and it could already outclass a profound heaven expert. As matters stood, Veiled Dragon Pavilion would lose. And the Luo clan would be next. No, I cannot let that happen. Squinting, Zhuo Fan gnashed his teeth and pointed, sending a red light at Jian Fan. He was taking a huge gamble. If Blood Infant was found out, it would die in a blink from the purple lightning, and him along with it. But if he stood at the sidelines, the Luo clan would be sure to fall for good. Zhuo Fan hardened his heart and sent the Blood Infant on the offensive. Jian Fan was focused on Veiled Dragon Pavilion's three elders and was oblivious to the incoming danger. Ha ha ha, purple lightning gold eye is awesome. Not even together are you three fools its match. The crow flew back to Jian Fan's shoulder as he cackled. The two men in black flew to either side of Jian Fan and grinned. The three Veiled Dragon Pavilion elders' faces darkened. The enemy looked down on them despite acting together. This was the first time this had ever happened. If they lost here today, Veiled Dragon Pavilion's reputation would be thrown into the mud. All thanks to them. Don't think you can win with a damn demonic creature and a stolen eye. Condor. The blonde elder's eyes flashed golden and exploded with killing intent. Old Zhu, old Wu, stay here. I will take their heads. While shocked, the red-haired elder saw the determination in his eyes and nodded. As did Long Zhu. As they were all elders of Veiled Dragon Pavilion, they knew the blonde old man's true power. Once the devastating gold dragon was enraged, he would split the earth and shatter the heavens. During the time when Long Zhu had his eye, there were three people in Veiled Dragon Pavilion he couldn't beat. First and second elder were the first two, while the last was the enraged third elder. Whoosh! A dazzling golden light shined and started covering him with a thick film. Like a golden armor, each time his finger moved, it let out a metallic sound. Jian Fan's face turned grave. Picking up on the threat to his life the old man's change promised. Allow me to educate you that the name of devastating gold dragon isn't an empty title. The blonde elder formed claws with his hands, all the while radiating in gold and staring at Jian Fan with a cold gaze. Then he rushed at Jian Fan. In his charge, the elder brought his hands together, just like scissors. Roar! A dragon roar echoed in the pitch-black night. Jian Fan saw the blonde elder appear surrounded by the image of a huge dragon. It unclenched its jaws and followed the blonde elder's claws to swallow the three enemies whole. High spirit ranked martial art. Devouring dragon claw. Startled, Jian Fan hastened his hand gestures to control the crow's purple lightning gold eye. Boom! And a purple light flashed. But this time, when the lightning fell on the dragon, It bounced off like a bullet. Not even able to slow it down. Zhuo Fan panicked, unable to believe that the blonde elder would be so strong that he could deflect Purple Lightning Goldeye's attack. But he did notice how the dragon's golden aura dimmed. Hell chains. Zhuo Fan and his two men moved together. Tens of black chains flew from their arms and fell on the dragon like a dark cloud. The chains tightened and the dragon body was rendered motionless under their vice. Yet the dragon still lingered, wanting to press on the attack. You're not Veiled Dragon Pavilion's third elder for nothing. Needing all three of us to hold you back. Zhuo Fan gave his all in grasping the black chains along with his men. They even began to sweat. The third elder gnashed his teeth, his lips curling in disdain. You think the three of you could have held me if not for the Purple Lightning Goldeye? He. You're right, we still have the Purple Lightning Goldeye. Zhuo Fan snickered, now that third elder reminded him. He used the hand that held the black chains to make hand signs. With a cawing sound, purple lightning flashed. The third elder's scalp went numb. Both sides were in a deadlock. If the purple lightning hit, it would spell heavy wounds. If not death. Third brother, Long Ju and the red-haired elder were nervous, rushing to help despite not making it in time. Seeing third elder's fate sealed under the purple lightning, Zhuo Fan grinned. It was at this moment when Zhuo Fan, who was just 100 feet away, showed a mystifying smile. Using this chaos, I'll take your life. I can't have the Veiled Dragon Pavilion lose such an important battle. Zhuo Fan's killing intent spiked as his hand moved. The blood infant lying in wait just around the corner sprung up from its hiding place, aiming for Zhuo Fan. With Zhuo Fan and his two men focused on third elder, they were oblivious to the impending danger. He. Die, third elder. Zhuo Fan cackled as the crow's eyes spilled purple lightning. But then a sudden flash of red entered his body and he felt his breath hampered. Dispelling the black chains from his hand, Elder Zhuo, what are you doing? His two men jumped in fright. Zhuo Fan found something burrowing in his body and wanted to expel it, but it was too late. Third elder pressed his advantage and exploded with power. Roar! The dragon burst out of the chains and bit down. The two men's eyes squinted as they fled. But the pitiful Elder Zhuo was rooted in place thanks to Blood Infant's control. The next instant, an arm flew way up high. Third elder grabbed it and stood with pride as he laughed at the one-armed Zhuo Fan and his men. Curse you! Veiled Dragon Pavilion went as far as refining demonic creatures to make a sneak attack. Zhuo Fan clenched his teeth as his heart bled with grief, thinking how a veteran demonic cultivator as himself was hampered by a demonic creature left a bad taste in his mouth. Would he get any respect from others now? What was even worse was that this was done by righteous cultivators. Let's go. Zhuo Fan knew he lost the advantage and there was nothing to gain from fighting a losing battle. Yet Long Ju wasn't one to let them go. After them, third elder's feelings were mutual and shouted while pursuing them. The blood infant returned inside Zhuo Fan without anyone's knowledge. He smiled. It's best for Hell Valley to put this blame on Veiled Dragon Pavilion. Their hatred isn't light anyway and a bit more won't affect them. Zhuo Fan justified his actions. Just that he couldn't help that the purple lightning Goldeye caught his attention. One way or another, I'll have to get it. Zhuo Fan rubbed his chin as his eyes roamed around. Few things caught the demonic emperor's eye, and the heavenly sovereign's purple lightning Goldeye happened to be one of them. Kill! But then, a group of men in black charged into Veiled Dragon Pavilion. They were all bone-tempering experts. However, Veiled Dragon Pavilion had a contingency in place and Long Jia led his own team to repel the enemies. Mere moments after the two sides clashed, Long Kui came out to meet them with her own team from the small courtyard. During the Profound Heaven Experts battle, they remained hidden, waiting for the right moment to strike. They waited for all of Hell Valley's men to charge in so they could kill them all in one go. Hell Valley acted as if they didn't expect an ambush and retreated with Long Jia and Long Kui hot on their tails. No sooner did they retreat after the initial attack, leaving the Luo clan and the ones in the small courtyard. Aren't they baiting? Zhuo Fan was calm, having known Hell Valley's plan. He was waiting for the true mastermind to come out. Soon after, Yang Ming appeared leading Blackwind Mountain bandits. Zhuo Fan smirked. Hell Valley had paid a heavy price to have the Lei clan wipe out the Luo clan. I wonder how far are they willing to go? Chapter 36. Lone Sentry. Bam! The little courtyard's door was kicked open and Yang Ming and his bandit gang stormed the premises. Get the returning dragon palm. And kill the Luo clan. Yang Ming extended his hand. Whoosh! A breeze passed, followed by Zhuo Fan landing from the roof and barring their path. People, the way is closed off. Please go back, for your own sake. The bandits stopped in shock. Yang Ming stepped from among them and snickered. Are you from the Luo clan? Zhuo Fan nodded. I am Luo clan steward. Zhuo Fan. Zhuo Fan? Yang Ming exposed a savage grin. Here I was wondering where to look for you, and yet you were kind enough to jump right in my path. Whoever brings me his head will get a reward. Yang Ming shouted to the bandits around him. Oh, under Yang Ming's enticing offer, the bandits shot for Zhuo Fan like cannonballs. Zhuo Fan sneered inside. What could second-layer qi condensation cultivators possibly do? In but a breath, Zhuo Fan's hand moved like a shadow, touching the head of the first victim that dared to step close and sending out black energy through the use of demon transformation art. Under the shocked gaze of the rest, the victim turned to dust and was swept away by the wind. Even Yang Ming was scared, never seeing such a ruthless killing method despite his stay in the Hell Valley, which was filled with its fair share of demonic cultivating monsters. If he was scared, the bandits were horrified. Despite Zhuo Fan having killed a weakling, how he did it drew a far greater reaction out of them. That's the best demonic method. Yang Ming's eyes flickered on and off. Gone was his disdain for Zhuo Fan, now replaced by endless caution. Who the hell are you? There's no way the Luo clan could have someone like you. With a sinister smile, Zhuo Fan pretended to caress an imaginary beard while speaking in an aged voice. Little brother, did you forget? This old man is but a swindler. It's you. Yang Ming realized he was the old guy accompanying Lei Yuding before. Since he was here, that meant killing intent flashed as Yang Ming spoke. Where are they? Zhuo Fan shook his head. Are you dumb or what? Since I'm here, of course they're here with me. Yang Ming's heart tightened. If the old man and Lei Yuding came out, his control over the Blackwind Mountain bandits would crumble. I should have killed you two from the start. Yang Ming's Yuan Qi exploded. His bone-tempering power caused the bandits to flinch back 3 steps. Zhuo Fan only shook his head. You wouldn't have attacked, not until you saw Xiao Kui. For you to have hidden for so long in the Blackwind Mountain shows your careful nature. Unable to accept the smallest mistake, until you knew for certain Xiao Kui's location, you'd never kill her master. Yang Ming's heart was in upheaval. Never for the likes of him could he imagine a stranger had such a piercing analysis of him. That could see through his every move. He was far more cunning than even the old men in the Hell Valley. He had to die. As Zhuo Fan words landed, the bandits began to doubt. Yang Ming couldn't drag this any longer. For fear of exposing himself for good and ruining the house's plan, he chose to attack Zhuo Fan. Zhuo Fan's demonic method left him in shock. But as Zhuo Fan was but a 4th-layer qi condensation cultivator, he could kill him in one blow. Zhuo Fan was taken aback by Yang Ming's sudden attack and retreated. Have you no dignity? How can a bone-tempering cultivator use all his power against a qi condensation cultivator? Yang Ming cackled. You think I'm as dumb as you Quan to be caught off guard by you? His finger extended and lightning blossomed. The same move used by the Lei clan. Lightning finger. For early bone-tempering Yang Ming to use a spirit-ranked martial art on Zhuo Fan showed the desperation he had in wishing to kill him. And yet, despite his opponent's fierce momentum, Zhuo Fan stopped and spread his arms as he welcomed Yang Ming with a mystifying smile. Yang Ming was unnerved, but not enough to curb his attack. Zhuo Fan then curled a finger and a yellow light encased him. Yang Ming collided with the light and bounced off while coughing blood. What is that? Yang Ming was dumbstruck in the face of such a light. He only felt as if Zhuo Fan's finger held the power to send him flying. How did he do it? Wasn't he just a qi condensation punk? Didn't Yu Quan give him a heavy wound? How is he so strong? Zhuo Fan chuckled at Yang Ming's puzzlement as his hand moved. You're a bit stronger than Yu Quan, but still trash. The only fate of trash is death. Zhuo Fan's eyes flashed with killing intent. A golden dragon burst out of the ground and swooped down on Yang Ming. Its majestic power brought everyone else to their knees. Yang Ming felt fear and wanted to curse. Blast it, the house lied to me. Didn't they say this punk can only sneak attack? How does he have this much power? If that dragon attacks, not even my bones will remain. Only a profound heaven expert has such power. The Blackwind Mountain bandits were terrified. Didn't Hell Valley bait all the experts? Why was one still here? No one from the 7 houses is trustworthy. Stop. Just when the golden dragon was poised to strike, a shout came. The bandits knew it belonged to their young miss and hope rose within them. Zhuo Fan snorted. Yet the next moment tens of black chains descended from the black cloud above. They not only tied the dragon up but also crushed it. Zhuo Fan looked with contracted pupils. The black cloud was the same one the 3 elders from the Hell Valley relied on before. There was another one? Frowning, Zhuo Fan knew the black cloud hid another elder. He. A man descended from the black clouds and landed in front of Yang Ming. Lei Yuding also arrived next to Zhuo Fan and glared. Didn't I tell you to stop? Anyone who stands in my way is my enemy. Why should I listen to you? Zhuo Fan didn't look at her, only staring at the newcomer. Lei Yuding snorted. Sigh, that old Jian Fan told me to watch over the Blackwind Mountain bandits. I thought it was a waste of time and did not take it seriously. The man waved. Yu Ming, leave. No, Elder Yun, I want to get Zhuo Fan's head myself. For junior brother Yu Quan's revenge. Yu Ming glared at Zhuo Fan. Bam! The man gave him an unexpected slap, sending him flying. You think you can? The man sneered. You can't even match his skill. So go back to Hell Valley. This doesn't concern you anymore. Elder Yun. Yu Ming was distracted seeing the unfeeling gaze in the man's eyes. He never saw Elder Yun like this. Yu Ming was among the best in Hell Valley and no elder ever looked at him with such cold eyes. Why? The man snorted. Despite your scheming heart, I used to see you as a man of talent, worthy of raising, but now that I met this youngster, I realized you are nothing more than an insect. The man then turned to Zhuo Fan with a smile. Child, you have one chance. Join Hell Valley and all our differences shall be made void. Or, whoosh, he swiped and a black chain tightened tens of Blackwind Mountain bandits. He pulled a bit and all that was left were pieces of flesh. Or follow in their footsteps. Shock spread to those still alive to see this and Lei Yuding glared in rage at him. Rubbing his chin, Zhuo Fan smiled. Wasn't Hell Valley using Blackwind Mountain to save its reputation? Why kill them? With how smart you are, I'm sure you can figure it out. The man snickered. Since our plan is out in the open, I would rather avoid raising doubts in them by killing all now. Them? Who's that? Zhuo Fan frowned. The man shook his head. You will know once you join us. Zhuo Fan only laughed. To me, Hell Valley is the same as he is to you. A mere insect. He pointed at Yu Ming with a taunt. The man's ire grew. Kid, don't you fear death? Zhuo Fan snickered. Can you deliver it? The man jumped and hacked his palm in rage at Zhuo Fan. Die. Zhuo Fan made a gesture and a yellow light blocked the attack. Yu Ming saw them clash with jealousy and hatred. He was considered outstanding and was sent on an important mission to Blackwind Mountain. But Zhuo Fan's sudden appearance ruined everything. It even caused the elder to abandon him. Zhuo Fan, you'll see. Yu Ming wiped the blood from his mouth and fled. Lei Yuding chased at once and the two were gone moments later. Zhuo Fan, on the other hand, faced the man with the help of the array. Seeing her go, he sighed, foolish girl, and he sent Blood Infant to follow them in secret. Chapter 37, Fighting a Profound Heaven Cultivator. The man struck 3 times and Zhuo Fan countered with a hand sign, which erected yellow light. After 20-odd hits, the man floated in the air and sneered. You're really something to be able to control the 3rd-grade coiling dragon array at such a young age. It's most unfortunate you met me. He then rushed towards Zhuo Fan again as the latter formed a golden dome of light to stop him. Having foreseen this, the man gathered 20% more power in his palm before striking. The dome crumbled under the devastating blow and he continued to speed towards Zhuo Fan. Humph. The power of profound heaven isn't something a chi condensation kid can even begin to imagine. Zhuo Fan smiled and muttered. A 5th-grade array isn't something a novice can comprehend either. With a snort, Zhuo Fan's hand signs took a sudden change. First heaven. Roar. A golden dragon erupted from the ground and moved to attack Elder Yun. With disdain plainly seen on his face, Elder Yun waved tens of black chains around the dragon and crushed it. Just as the dragon dissipated, Zhuo Fan's gesture changed again. Second heaven. Roar, roar. 2 golden dragons charged this time. Shocked, the man never saw this array forming 2 dragon images. This exceeded his understanding of the coiling dragon array. But it wasn't something out of his control. Both of his arms moved and the dragons were crushed under black chains. Even before the man could take a breather, Zhuo Fan shouted 2 times. Third heaven. 3 dragons took to the skies. Fourth heaven, and the 4th dragon appeared. Fifth heaven, 6th heaven, 9th heaven. A total of 9 golden dragons roamed the skies as their fearsome roars echoed everywhere. Every great clan in the city burrowed deeper into their homes, without daring to make a peep. This battle was by far the most horrifying one in their lives. The man was gasping for breath and looked appalled at the majestic scene. Never in his wildest dream could he ever conceive that a chi condensation child was able to control such an imposing array. This isn't the coiling dragon array. The man saw the 9 golden dragons setting their vicious sights on their enemy. Zhuo Fan gave a cruel grin. This is the 5th grade array. 9 heavens coiling dragon array. Try it, if you have the nerve. After a deep look at Zhuo Fan, the man cackled. How amusing. To think a kid can control a 5th grade array. I am more and more intrigued. For the last time, will you join Hell Valley? The man's fervent look was akin to gazing upon a priceless treasure. But he only received disdain. I've never once considered joining a rundown place like yours. Since you chose to keep that road shut, the only path left is to your death. The man flew like the wind, with all his killing intent focused on Zhuo Fan. Zhuo Fan was but a teenager. But the ruthless and calculative mind coupled with his preeminent talent left the man with dread for the future. It was best to avoid any future mishaps and kill him on the spot. Zhuo Fan was clear of Elder Yun's intention and with a hand sign from him, he sent the 9 dragons to attack the elder. 9 dragon tails charged. An ear-piercing sound came and the man had to come face to face with the awe-inspiring power of 9 dragon tails, stopping him dead in his tracks. His only choice was to unleash his black chains, hoping their power was enough. Rumble. Under the shaking sky and spinning ground, the man's chains and the dragon tails clashed. It resulted in him being sent flying. He flew 50 meters before landing, puking blood the first instance his body made contact with the ground. Zhuo Fan mocked. How did you become an elder with just this much strength? How did Hell Valley even wiggle its way among the 7 noble houses? The man was about to spout obscenities. Who'd imagine this day would come when a chi condensation child would toy with him? Once word got out, he'd be the butt of the Empire's joke. Even if he returned to the valley lord wouldn't let him off with just a tongue lashing. Kid, even if you go down on your knees and beg, I will still kill you. His eyes bloodshot. A golden ring appeared on the man's hand exuding a dreadful aura. Demonic treasure? Zhuo Fan started to get serious. A demonic treasure was a demonic cultivator's weapon, just as how a spiritual weapon was to a righteous cultivator. With it, the man's power would multiply. Hell Valley's elder, have you no shame? To use a demonic treasure against a chi condensation junior? Zhuo Fan mocked, but Elder Yun replied with a savage grin. He. Who will be able to tell when everyone's dead? Zhuo Fan was anxious now. He wanted to provoke Elder Yun just so he could avoid this situation. But when up against a demonic cultivator, they would stoop to any low. Then again, if it were him, he'd come to the same decision as well. If a righteous cultivator gave up his life for honor, fought for justice and yet still died gruesomely, a demonic cultivator would only take that man for a fool. This was why no demonic cultivator would ever wish to battle with another demonic cultivator. They were ruthless, scheming and sinister characters, and the only outcome of fighting them was one victor and one loser with no in-between. Particularly in the shameless one's case. Die, kid. The man attacked again and Zhuo Fan sent the 9 dragon tails to fend him off. But this time, the ring flashed silver light and increased the man's speed, cutting through the tails like a silver saber. So fast, Zhuo Fan sucked a cold breath. He knew the man's newfound power was all because of the ring. The silver light then flashed in front of him, followed by the man's vicious grin. "Kid, there's nowhere left for you to run." Zhuo Fan clenched his teeth, seeing the ring's saw blade edge. The silver light seemed to cut even the air. "Third-grade demonic treasure?" Zhuo Fan smiled. "Good eye." The man nodded. "You're the first chi condensation with the honor of dying from this third-grade demonic treasure." Savage Moon. "Wait." Zhuo Fan waved frantically. "If I join Hell Valley now?" "Too late." The man laughed as Savage Moon approached Zhuo Fan. Zhuo Fan didn't want to die. He just got reincarnated, but all he could do was sigh and close his eyes. Boom! A sudden thunderclap reached his ears and Zhuo Fan could still feel that he was alive. Opening his eyes, he saw a tall old man in front with blood trickling down his arm. The old man was facing Elder Yun, whose Savage Moon's blade was stained in fresh blood. "Who are you?" Elder Yun asked. "Blackwind Mountain's Lei Yushan," as the old man shouted. Lightning flashed all over him. "Any that dares to mess with the Luo clan are my enemies." Zhuo Fan now knew the old man was, in fact, the mountain lord of Blackwind Mountain. Before, he was but a bedridden patient and now was back to his health. "You've recovered?" Zhuo Fan was overjoyed. Smiling, Lei Yushan expressed his thanks. "Thanks to Steward Zhou's kindness, I've not only recovered but also entered the profound heaven stage." Zhuo Fan was in glee. That was exactly what he needed right now. Humph, what can a chi condensation kid and a fresh profound heaven geezer do? "You'll all die just the same under my Savage Moon's blade." He lifted the bloody Savage Moon. "Don't be so sure." Chuckling, Zhuo Fan made a sign and 9 golden dragons soared. "Old man Lei, please hear me out. This time we'll be taking this geezer's life." Lei Yushan saw the confidence in Zhuo Fan's eyes and nodded, while their enemy seemed to have heard the biggest joke in his life. "Ha ha ha, I've broken through your array once. Kid, this profound heaven old man's cultivation is still unstable. Not enough to take my life." Smirking, Zhuo Fan muttered, "When I use someone, I never take any rules into consideration. This is our best chance. Old man Lei, attack." Good. Since Zhuo Fan saved his life once, Lei Yushan had faith in him. He knew the enemy was stronger than him but still chose to face him. Lightning Finger. Elder Yun sneered and sent black chains. Even if Lei Yushan did not die from this attack, he'd still be sporting heavy wounds. However, the 9 golden dragons charged into battle as well. Elder Yun had no choice but to soar up and use the silver light from his weapon to cut the dragons in two. The dragons were unable to stop his assault as he inched closer to Zhuo Fan. "It's best I kill you first." Elder Yun's speed left Zhuo Fan without time to make a hand sign. But Lei Yushan appeared with his lightning finger aimed at the elder's throat. "You're asking for it." The man had to shift Savage Moon's target from Zhuo Fan to Lei Yushan. Lei Yushan showed a gratified smile, still willing to attack Elder Yun. For Lei Yushan, even if Zhuo Fan had intended to send him to his death, he'd be willing. Dying for the Luo clan's sake was a good death to him. Yet something happened just when Savage Moon was nearing the old man's chest. Thanks to the old man's distraction, Zhuo Fan finished his hand signs and bit his tongue, spitting blood essence. Humph! Have a taste of 9 heavens coiling dragon array's real power. The 9 cut dragons turned into golden dots and rushed to Zhuo Fan. A glorious and ancient roar was released, followed by a huge dragon far greater than all the previous 9 dragons combined. This new dragon immediately rushed towards Elder Yun. The man's eyes narrowed as his heart shook. But it was already too late. The new dragon's speed was even greater than Savage Moon's. He couldn't even poise Savage Moon to defend and the dragon crashed into him, carrying him off into the sky. How can a chi condensation brat? Following his final wail, the dragon held the man in its jaws and exploded. Chapter 38. Scary Zhuo Fan. Boom! A grand explosion rumbled the skies above the small courtyard as the dragon ignited the heavens in a flash of gold. The shockwave even put pressure on the building, despite being so far, while other houses crumbled in the aftermath. Deafening noise from the explosion attacked people's ears even as they covered them up and laid trembling on the ground. This sound attack lasted for a full minute, but nothing could erase that dreadful image from their hearts. Nothing. 100 miles out, 2 men in black fought as they fled from Long Ju's group. "Where is that bastard Jian Fan?" Long Zhu's anger spiked when he caught no sight of his mortal enemy. Son of A. That old dog must have left these two to stall us. Forget it. Third elder glared with killing intent. Let's finish off these two first. Under the three elders' united assault, the two men in black were sweating bullets, having no choice but to fight. Then, a dreadful noise came from Veiled Dragon Pavilion's direction, followed by a golden light that lit up the whole sky. The five people stopped their attack and stood in shock. What was that? Did another expert appear? Third elder felt his ears rumbling and sucked in a cold breath. But, which expert could have unleashed such a move? Retreat. With no time to waste, Third elder shouted as he flew back to Veiled Dragon Pavilion. He was far more worried about its well-being than the death of these two Hell Valley elders. Though Long Zhu was unwilling, he followed the third elder with a sigh. Seeing the three Veiled Dragon Pavilion elders retreat, the two men in black let out a sigh of relief, yet were still puzzled by how the events turned out. They knew an elder was there to make sure the plan didn't go south. But even that elder wasn't powerful enough for this kind of feat. Plus, a bunch of chi condensation insects didn't garner such a heavy hand either. The answer was quite simple in this case. Another expert much stronger than Elder Yun showed up. Hearts heavy with worry, the two discarded any plans of going there to assist Elder Yun. They feared that the Veiled Dragon Pavilion's three elders might set a trap. So, they took the only viable choice. Retreat. Elder Yun, you're on your own. At the small courtyard, Lei Yushin watched the night sky slack-jawed. He thought Zhuo Fan wanted him to bait Elder Yun and leave him open for a sneak attack. He went with it despite knowing he was a dead man. As long as Luo clan survived, it was worth dying for. But Zhuo Fan defied his imagination. He still acted as bait but did not pay the ultimate price. While the enemy was caught unaware, the lad sprung up with a devastating blow that took Elder Yun's life, leaving no remains. Recalling the sky-blazing aftermath, Lei Yushin shuddered. Not only was he surprised, but also shocked. A Hell Valley's elder, a profound heaven expert, died in one move. This kid is terrifying. Old man Lei. Zhuo Fan caught his breath and stood up weakly. Lei Yushin heard him and rushed over to hear his instructions. His faith in the kid had once again strengthened. This was no longer just gratitude for having saved him or faith in a youth's potential, but the respect for the strong. Steward Zhou, if there's anything you want done, just tell me. Zhuo Fan nodded. Old man Lei, I'll leave Luo clan in your care while I go bring young Miss Lei back. No worries. They'll have to pass over my dead body before they can harm a hair of Yunhai and Yunchang. Lei Yushin nodded with resolve. Zhuo Fan showed a relieved smile and went after Lei Yuding. Hell Valley had left only one elder here and he too was dead now. Seeing how no other enemy popped up while fighting, Zhuo Fan was certain Hell Valley only sent 4 men in total, including the ones Veiled Dragon Pavilion's elders were chasing. Under a profound heaven expert's careful watch, the Luo clan siblings' safety was guaranteed, so he could devote all his attention to saving that foolish girl. To be on the safe side, he picked up the Savage Moon first. A third-grade demonic treasure shouldn't be wasted. Yang Ming ran like mad while clutching his chest in the gloomy forest. He was injured from the smack he got from Zhuo Fan's array. But Elder Yun's slap made it worse. His mind was clouded and breath ragged. As for the dreadful explosion before, he didn't have the time to waste on it, but he was shocked nonetheless, finding it inconceivable for Elder Yun and Zhuo Fan's fight to escalate to such degree. Stop! A clear and angry shout came from behind, freezing Yang Ming in place. He turned to see Lei Yuding watching him with complex emotions, making sure she was alone and double-checking Zhuo Fan wasn't there. Yang Ming relaxed and showed a wicked grin. Junior sister, you want to stop me all by yourself? Frowning, Lei Yuding's eyes turned misty. For my godfather, I will help him get rid of such a traitorous disciple. Ha ha ha, traitorous disciple? I was never one of you in the first place. Yang Ming mocked her. Moreover, do you think you can kill me with your strength? Even if we are to die together, at least I can repay Godfather's kindness for raising me. Lei Yuding's eyes glittered with tears as she stared at him right in the eye. I just want to know, did you ever love me? Black demonic energy drifted from Yang Ming's hand as he sneered. I am a genius disciple of Hell Valley. If I am ever to marry, I would choose from among the 7 houses. How can I be tied down with the likes of you? Tears fell unabated, but Lei Yuding hardened her determination. Then from now on, we are through. Lei Yuding followed her last word with lightning flickering between her fingers. Yang Ming laughed, hardly afraid, and fought back with the black-colored hand. In the clash between the freezing palm and the flickering lightning, sparks flew. However, Yang Ming dodged lightning finger at the last second and struck down Lei Yuding with no remorse. Lei Yuding saw his evil grin and came to terms with the outcome, closing her eyes for death to take her. It was then that a flash of red struck Yang Ming's black palm. Bam! Yang Ming was sent flying and coughed blood in midair. An infant's cry came from the red light as it flew into a bush. Waking from her stupor, Lei Yuding saw Yang Ming heavily wounded on the ground and the weakened red light among the bushes. She knew it was Zhuo Fan's blood infant. She stood there in a daze, muttering as she glanced at blood infant. Was it you who saved me? The blood infant tried to fly again, only to collapse. She did not know of the inseparable bond between Zhuo Fan and the blood infant. However, she knew it was something he treasured. But even so, to think that Zhuo Fan would send his treasure to save her. Lei Yuding began to feel warm inside. When she turned her focus to Yang Ming, only killing intent remained in her eyes. Walking over, Lei Yuding's fingers crackled with lightning. Yang Ming was panicking, wanting to flee but hardly had the energy to get up. Sister Yuding, have mercy. Remember how close we were? Remember how we used to laugh? Yang Ming shrank backwards while begging. Now I want to kill you even more. Snorting, her fingers struck without hesitation. Wait, spare me, Yang Ming wailed, but there was no one to hear his cry. Bam! When Lei Yuding's attack was about to land, a tremendous power blew her away. A bald elderly landed next to Yang Ming. Elder Jian, Yang Ming cried out. He took Elder Jian as his savior, having pulled him out of the jaws of death. Never had he been so thrilled to meet an elder from his house. Throwing a side glance at the wounded kid, he bellowed, "How did you fall so low? What about the plan?" Yang Ming's face fell and shook his head. Unclear. Elder Jian wanted to kick this worthless thing away. You are the one most knowledgeable about this plan and yet you come to me saying it's unclear? The house's expense was heavy in this decade-long plan. And this is your answer? If Elder Jian didn't need to hear the kid's report, he would have killed him right then and there. Forget it, we'll speak of it when we return. Sighing, Elder Jian's eyes turned to the stunned Lei Yuding. After we get rid of this girl. He then jumped at her with a palm strike, coming face to face with a profound heaven expert for the first time. Lei Yuding was frozen in fear. Under such power, she couldn't even defend. Is this the power of the profound heaven stage? Lei Yuding paled, rooted to her spot as she waited for the palm to take her life. Whoosh! A sudden silver flash cowered Elder Jian into retreating before the hit landed. A figure made itself notice as it walked next to Lei Yuding, striking a sinister grin. Do all elders from Hell Valley like to pick on juniors? Zhuo Fan. Lei Yuding cried in joy as her heart found peace. Chapter 39. Killing another profound heaven cultivator. You again. Elder Jian squinted his eyes at the savage moon in shock. Why do you have that demonic treasure? What happened to Elder Yun? Grinning, Zhuo Fan pointed savage moon at Elder Jian. Oh, you recognize it. Jian Fan's mind was in chaos. Don't tell me, how can that old guy die at the hands of a pup? But, the more he looked at the demonic treasure, the more Jian Fan felt shock, hatred, and above all, confusion. Be that as it may. But no Hell Valley's demonic treasure was allowed to fall into an outsider's hand. Elder Jian then saw the naked killing intent in Zhuo Fan's eyes. Aware of the other's intention, Zhuo Fan snickered as he sent a whisper to Lei Yuding. Listen, aim for the old man's heart and close your eyes as you attack with lightning finger. Ignore everything else. She turned to him in shock. How can I hit him if I close my eyes? We won't win against a profound heaven cultivator regardless. But she soon recalled Zhuo Fan's unscrupulous character and understood his intention. The only reason he saved her was to use her as a live bait to throw into the jaws of death. Lei Yuding nodded despondently. She was already prepared to die when she made the decision to come here. Zhuo Fan curled his finger, making blood infant return to his body unnoticed as he shouted. Now, Zhuo Fan went first and Lei Yuding followed his plan by closing her eyes and using lightning finger. Startled, Elder Jian didn't expect them to move first. But he didn't mind, as a profound heaven cultivator's defense wasn't something a chi condensation cultivator could pierce. The only danger to his life was posed by that savage moon. As such, Zhuo Fan had his complete focus. Lei Yuding charged the lightning with her eyes closed, ignoring everything, while Zhuo Fan flitted left and right. Elder Jian sneered, turning a blind eye to the girl. When she was near Elder Jian, Zhuo Fan flashed in front of her and attacked with Savage Moon. It was a simple thing for Jian Fan to grab Zhuo Fan's hand and snap it in two. Humph, don't think a petty diversion is enough to trick my eyes. I've lived far longer than you. Smoke and mirrors won't work on me. Jian Fan sneered. Yet, it still has. Zhuo Fan's smile remained. Suddenly, Elder Jian's heart was filled with unease. Before he could make clear as to why, a red light flew from Zhuo Fan into his body. From Zhuo Fan's broken arm, blood spurted out like a stream and dyed the trees red. Jian Fan watched Zhuo Fan with rage. It was you back then? He now knew what had entered his body not too long ago and allowed the three elders from Veiled Dragon Pavilion to use that chance and tear one of his arms. Zhuo Fan grinned. You're brave, I'll give you that. To rob me of my arm. Jian Fan gnashed his teeth. Once I get out of your demonic creature's control, I'll tear you to pieces. Elder Jian focused all his yuan qi into his body while talking. Zhuo Fan smiled. Despite sensing the increasing pressure on Blood Infant, Elder Jian, you've been tricked yet again. Lightning crackled as Lei Yuding's fingers came from behind Zhuo Fan and struck Jian Fan's chest. Watching Zhuo Fan's eerie smile with doubt, Elder Jian's eyes bulged out from grievance and unwillingness to die like this. Elder Jian, you were wrong. I was the distraction. Zhuo Fan smiled despite the blood leaking from his mouth. You only paid attention to Savage Moon. But you forgot your wounded state. Weakened as you are now, you no longer have the same amount of yuan qi as before. Ha ha ha. The fear in Elder Jian's eyes grew thick. Such a cunning and vicious youth. How horrifying. This was how the expert Jian Fan breathed his last breath. Zhuo Fan used himself as bait while leaving the final blow to Lei Yuding. Each step was filled with perils. The slightest mistake, the slightest hesitation would have meant death. Yet when Zhuo Fan was involved, everything they did was as if they were dancing to his tune, resulting in Elder Jian's ultimate demise. It was especially so when Zhuo Fan blocked Elder Jian from noticing the real danger hiding behind him. Lei Yuding's lightning fingers. Two chi condensation juniors killing a profound heaven expert. If anyone spoke of this, none would believe it. Plop. Zhuo Fan collapsed in his own blood. Lei Yuding was crying in despair when she saw this. She thought Zhuo Fan wanted her to act as bait, but it exceeded her expectations when he took the most dangerous role onto himself. All kinds of emotions swept her heart. Pain, warmth, and even something Yang Ming never managed to stir. Zhuo Fan, forgive me. Lei Yuding kneeled at his side. Watching his pale face, Zhuo Fan waved. This isn't your fault. When Blood Infant was wounded, I also suffered internal injuries. He recalled Blood Infant from Elder Jian's corpse. This time, it'll take a lot more time to heal. His wounds mattered little when compared to Blood Infant's, which represented his life. This only worked to increase Lei Yuding's flow of tears. She now knew that the demonic creature wasn't a treasure, but something bound to his life. Yet even in such a perilous state, he chose to take a life-threatening hit for her. She began to see Zhuo Fan with different eyes. But Zhuo Fan himself couldn't care less. Zhuo Fan pointed at Jian Fan. Search him. A Hell Valley elder has to have valuable things on him. Alright. Lei Yuding used her highly dexterous hands to complete this task with such skill that Zhuo Fan couldn't help but raise an eyebrow. A bandit sure is skilled. Once Jian Fan was picked clean, Lei Yuding returned to Zhuo Fan. In her entire life, this was the first time she ever lowered her head in shame from doing something so unbecoming of her. But he couldn't care less about the reason why she was hiding her face. As she strewed the things before Zhuo Fan, she kept avoiding his eyes. Zhuo Fan found it odd but didn't care and started to rummage through Elder Jian's stuff. The first and foremost thing that caught his eye was the storage ring, and soon found what he was looking for inside. A light flashed and 2 jade slips appeared in his hand. Lei Clan's spiritual ranked martial art, Lightning Finger, and Kai Clan's martial art, Wind Kick. He was clueless as to the secret involving the 3 clans' martial arts but did not hesitate in taking them into his own reign. What was left were some cultivation methods, martial arts and spirit stones. Zhuo Fan, as a former demonic emperor, couldn't care less about those and threw the ring to Lei Yuding. According to Bandit's rule, half belongs to you. Lei Yuding shook her head. The old man was your kill. They're yours. I don't want them. He has nothing of value. Zhuo Fan smiled and turned his eyes to a bag. It was only as big as a palm, but Zhuo Fan knew of its remarkable quality. It was a bag that could store living creatures. And what laid within was none other than the soul-devouring crow. Stashing it in his chest, Zhuo Fan smiled pleasantly. It held the largest interest to him. Who knew? He might even discover the secret of the purple lightning gold eye. Zhuo Fan, at least take the ring. Lei Yuding was shocked at the ring's contents and still decided to give it to Zhuo Fan. I know Luo clan is wealthy, but there are some spirit-ranked martial arts and cultivation methods inside which are of far greater value than mere spirit stones. It will provide great help in restoring your clan. Zhuo Fan shrugged as he weighed the ring. Such trashy things I have in heaps. There's nothing rare or great about them. If you don't want it, I'll just throw it. He was about to do just that when Lei Yuding took the ring from his hand. How can you be such a wastrel? To not even want spirit-ranked martial arts? How did you manage to become a steward anyway? With how you act, Luo clan's money will get flushed down the drain. Zhuo Fan smiled as he put Jian Fan's corpse into his ring. Time to head back. Veiled Dragon Pavilion has some explaining to do. Lei Yuding nodded and rushed to support him. As Zhuo Fan was far too weakened, he could only lean onto her shoulder, tinting her cheeks red in the process. Wait, Zhuo Fan stopped to look around. Where's Yang Ming? Lei Yuding looked everywhere but there was no sight of Yang Ming. They forgot about him in the heat of the battle. Curses. He got away. Lei Yuding gnashed her teeth. Zhuo Fan shook his head. No need to bother with an insect. But then he recalled his disciple, Zhao Chen, and killing intent flashed in his eyes. But even insects can spell trouble. The next time I see him, he's dead. Chapter 40. Shock. The sun's warm rays shone from the east as Long Jia and Long Kui led hundreds of Veiled Dragon Pavilion guards back to the branch. Even tiredness couldn't hide the prideful air they carried themselves with. Not only did they win the battle with Hell Valley, but did it spectacularly. Long Ju, with 3rd and 5th elders, stood at the gates watching their return with negligible casualties. Uncles, Long Jia and Long Kui bowed with a smile. The 3 elders were pleased. Little Kui, Jia, how was your fight? Long Kui was the first to report. As the uncles predicted, after you chased the elders from Hell Valley, a large force came to attack us only to be defeated by us. Barely a scant few bone-tempering cultivators escaped. Well done. Long Ju shouted his approval. Your improvement has been great lately. Magnificent for you to not only lead your own team but to also wipe out the enemy. Third brother, when you return to the estate, make sure to report the two's merit to Pavilion Lord. Ha ha ha. Long Ju's laughter shook the air as if he was relieved of the past year's pressure. Third elder stroked his beard with a smile. This huge merit the two achieved for Veiled Dragon Pavilion was the first in their lives. Such accomplishment was always followed by a sense of honor and pride. Oh, right. Third elder furrowed his brow. Do you know what was the cause of that tremendous explosion last night? Long Jia and Long Kui were also puzzled. That sound shook the world and I thought it was from Third Elder's fight with Hell Valley's elders. Wasn't it? Long Kui asked. The 3 elders' expressions turned grave as they shook their heads. The explosion shook the hearts of everyone last night, instantly becoming a mystery as to what caused it. Oh, didn't the Luo clan stay hidden in their small courtyard all this time? Let's go ask them. Long Ju slapped his head as he turned to Third Elder. Nodding, Third Elder walked in the small courtyard's direction, followed by the others. Long Kui smirked. The battle must have been so brutal last night that a tiny clan like them were scared to even poke their heads out. They probably hadn't seen anything. None spoke while Long Jia shook his head. They clearly approved of her stance, as they were only going there to ask for clues. When they arrived before the guest room of the small courtyard, they saw Luo clan's members standing before Zhuo Fan's door with worried faces. With them were 3 more people, and one among them was in the profound heaven stage. It can't be that yesterday was because. The 3 elders were startled, hurrying to pay their respects to Lei Yushan. May I inquire brother's name? Long Ju looked at him while being confused. When did Luo clan get an expert? Lei Yushan returned the gesture as he knew of Veiled Dragon Pavilion's might. I am Lei Yushan from Blackwind Mountain. It's an honor to meet the famous Veiled Dragon Pavilion. I am fortunate to come face to face with elders. Long Ju nodded. Having stayed in Windgaze City for so long, he knew the city had many clans with different power levels, but only the recently established Sun clan along with the previous Luo clan. Kai clan and Blackwind Mountain's Lei clan were first-rate clans. Of course, this rating only applied to a small town like Windgaze City, not including the 7 houses. As the Lei clan now had a profound heaven expert, the Blackwind Mountain's influence in Windgaze City would expand like never before. Despite how Bone Tempering Stage and Profound Heaven Stage were but a stage apart, the fact that a clan had a Profound Heaven expert as overseer, it now became a second-rate clan on this continent. Those that lacked such power were mere third-rate or fallen clans. Lei clan can now be considered as the most outstanding clan in Windgaze City. Clan head Lei, I wonder what are you? Long Ju roamed his eyes over the people gathered before Zhuo Fan's room. Lei Yushan sighed. Steward Zhou was hurt last night and is unclear if he will survive. What? This place was under attack too? Third Elder was shocked. He thought that Long Jia and Long Kui had blocked all Hell Valley's men last night. But it seemed that wasn't the case. Did they prepare 2 teams? Humph. A sudden snort of disdain came from behind. Wasn't Zhuo Fan always acting so high and mighty? Didn't he boast he'd surpass the 7 houses in 10 years? So useless, to only end up on his deathbed from a bunch of thieves. Luo clan and Lei clan all glared at the speaker. But Long Kui just rolled her eyes. Quiet, little Kui. Long Ju shot her a glare and Long Kui was forced to remain silent. Looking apologetic toward Lei Yushan, Long Ju spoke. Please excuse her rash behavior. Just who could it be? Powerful enough to injure Zhuo Fan to such a state even with a profound heaven expert such as yourself protecting him? What, me protecting him? Lei Yushan was taken aback, but then shook his head. I am ashamed to say that I only advanced last night and still lack the power to defend Steward Zhou. To others, Lei Yushan was the strongest here and it was natural for him to protect everyone. But only he was the clearest as to who protected who last night. But the enemy was a profound heaven expert that called himself Elder Yun. What, Yu Yunqing? Third Elder and Long Ju were startled as the former muttered. I never thought that he'd also come. But then he turned with joy at Lei Yushan. Brother Lei, you're amazing. That man was one of Hell Valley's 12 elders, having entered the profound heaven stage for decades. Yet you just advanced to profound heaven stage and defeated him. Impressive indeed. The other 2 elders also showed their admiration. Lei Yushan blushed and said with a cough. Third Elder is exaggerating. I couldn't even take a single blow from him. Then how did you all pass the night unharmed? Long Ju asked. Scratching his head, Lei Yushan looked at Zhuo Fan's door. It's all thanks to Steward Zhou. If not for him, everyone here would have undoubtedly perished. You're saying Zhuo Fan held Yu Yunqing back by himself? All night? Everyone was stunned, Long Kui included. But he's just a qi condensation cultivator. Long Ju refuted. Lei Yushan shrugged at a loss. I am clear on that. But so what? The last words choked Long Ju. Lei Yushan said it as if it was a common occurrence for a qi condensation cultivator to fight off a profound heaven cultivator for an entire night. And? Third Elder clenched his fists, staring at Lei Yushan. You mean to tell us Zhuo Fan forced Elder Yu Yunqing into retreating? Retreat? Frowning, Lei Yushan showed a trace of fear as he relived the last night's events. You are underestimating Zhuo Fan far too much. Underestimate? How? Even if one scoured the continent, would he ever find an instance where a qi condensation cultivator forced a profound heaven expert into retreating? We only made the most reasonable guess. Yet even this is such a far-fetched exaggeration that not even Zhuo Fan would believe. If not for you mentioning it, we'd have never conceived such ideas. The three elders swallowed dryly, with hearts in their throat. The fool didn't even have time to flee. Killed in one move by Zhuo Fan. Lei Yushan sighed. What? The elders were overwhelmed with shock. This was unprecedented. Long Kui and Long Jia were also dumbfounded. Long Ju's hands began to shiver without his knowledge. Are you saying Zhuo Fan was behind the huge explosion last night? He killed a Hell Valley's profound heaven elder and got out with a light wound? Lei Yushan saw their eager expressions and wanted to nod, but frowned instead with a shake of his head. What was it then? Long Ju was anxious and his aura leaked, forcing the others to take a few steps back. Lei Yushan sighed. I told you not to underestimate the kid. He killed Hell Valley's elder, but not at the cost of injury. Only his yuan qi was depleted. That's impossible. He came out unscathed? Long Ju was battered with one shock after another that even he didn't know what he was saying. But then how did he get hurt? Bam! A pale-faced Zhuo Fan slammed the door open and snapped at Long Ju. Isn't it because of you, bro Ju? Zhuo Fan. Some were shocked, some were glad, some were amazed, but most were filled with doubts as they turned to him. Are you alright? Luo Yunchang was worried. Alright my ass? Zhuo Fan snorted as he glared at everyone who was present. Here I am trying to keep my life and you people had to yap on and on. You think one can get well like this? They all started getting embarrassed and lowered their heads. Only the three elders looked at him at a loss. Zhuo Fan secretly snorted. Bro Ju, didn't you want to know how I got hurt? It's all because of him. Zhuo Fan took out a cold corpse, shocking them all. The ones most shocked were, of course, the three elders. Condor Jian Fan.